Lindsey Graham says Russians dying is the best thing, best money the U.S. spend. And this could potentially get him a death threat if it hasn't already. So,
speaking about Southerners,
can you pull up the video? I think we do have the video. If you got the Lindsey Graham video, you have it in your notes. Is that the one? Okay, let's just play this. Here's Lindsey Graham.
Free or die.
Free or die.
Now you are free.
Yes.
And we will be.
And the Russians are dying.
It's the best money we've ever spent.
Jeez.
Thank you so much.
No, it's
Free or die.
Dude.
Wow.
That's evil, Pat. That's straight up. Yeah, Pat.
So let me just read. Lindsey Graham made shocking remarks during a meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky, and the Russians are dying. It's the best money we've ever spent. Graham urges the Biden administration to increase aid to Ukraine and express support for the international fighter jet coalition that will provide F-16 jets. He emphasized the significance of providing more weapons to Ukraine, stating F-16 will matter. It will be decisive. Russia's ambassador to UK, Andrei Kellen, warned of an escalation in the war in Ukraine as Western allies commit more weapons. I'll read the follow-up to this, and then, Myron, I'm going to come to you first on this one here. So Russia issues Lindsey Graham arrest warrant after Ukraine comments. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov commented Sunday by saying that it is hard to imagine a greater shame for the country that having such senators, according to the Associated Press, Russia's investigative committee moved to open a criminal investigations against Graham, and the Interior Ministry followed up with a warrant for his arrest. Graham considers the arrest warrant to be a badge of honor. To know that my commitment to Ukraine has drawn the ire of Putin's regime brings me immense joy. I will continue to stand with and for Ukraine's freedom until every Russian soldier is expelled from Ukrainian territory, Graham said in a statement Monday. Finally, here's an offer to my Russian friends who want to arrest and try me for calling out Putin regime as being war criminals. I will submit to jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. If you do, he added, come and make your best case. See you in Hague. Myron.
This isn't our business. I mean, what I mean by that is the United States should not have intervened in this situation. People don't understand that Ukraine used to be a part of the USSR, and the thing is that people don't understand is that, and I have to give this equivalency for Americans so they understand, because a lot of them don't understand geopolitics to the same degree. What's going on with Ukraine right now is the equivalent to, like, let's say China decided to go ahead and have missiles in Mexico pointed at the United States. We would be in Mexico tomorrow to get those Chinese out. That's essentially what happened with the Russians and Ukraine with NATO. And, Putin's been warning them forever. Hey, NATO's trying to encroach on Ukraine. You better not let them in. If they come in, we're going to have problems. And, Zelensky kept flirting with NATO, and they came in. And what did Putin do? Okay, well, now we're going to return force. And my thing is, I'm not on either side, but I understand where Putin is coming from because he's operating to protect his country. He's operating to protect his national security. And a lot of Americans don't understand that the United States would do the same exact thing if our enemy came into Mexico or came to us in a position where they're at an advantage where they can point missiles at us. So I look at it like when you're talking about geopolitics, you're talking about war, you're talking about national security, etc. Every country's going to do what's best in their interest. And it's crazy to me how we can invade somewhere like Iraq, right? And for no real reason, right? We had a bunch of propaganda after 9/11. People don't even know that bin Laden and Saddam Hussein didn't even like each other, let alone were allies. But we went ahead and used that excuse of 9/11 to go ahead and invade Iraq. And then no one said anything to us. But if Putin goes into Ukraine, which was a part of the USSR, and there's serious ramifications for NATO being there to their national security, we're over here complaining up in arms. It's not our business. We need to focus our problems at home, not necessarily Ukraine. And I'm not saying that to insult anyone that it might be Ukrainian or whatever it may be, but you got to understand that every country is going to operate in their own best interest for national security.
Myron's 100% right. The U.S. has some experience with this. It's called the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Yeah. But I just think Lindsey Graham, like, to say something like that, bro, to say, and the Russians are dying. He didn't, innocence, because, dude, innocent people die all the time in wars. It's the best money we spent. It's Lindsey, that's a soulless warmonger saying some stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, try saying that to the mother, or like even the young soldiers that are just, they have to fight. They're forced to fight. For him to say that, bro, that guy lost all credibility. He didn't have that much to begin with, but what a scumbag, bro, to say that shit. just in front of the camera.
I'm
too.
wondering at this point how much he's owned by the military-industrial complex.
That's what I was going to say next.
You think so?
Because you're making comments like that, it's like
You're a scumbag, dude.
I mean, you're a representative of the United States. You're a senator. I mean, now he's got a warrant out for his arrest in Russia. Look, we've had this debate whether we should be in Ukraine or not. There's pros, there's cons. I get all that. I think at this point, what's the exit strategy? Because if this turns into another Afghanistan where they're in Ukraine for 20 years, I think the American does not have the wherewithal or the just the temperance to even deal with another war like this again. We have so many freaking issues at home. How can we de-escalate this and get us
I want to
out
say
of
one
Ukraine?
thing too. Like this is 100%. Like I said before, right? A lot of the times we don't wage war like we did in World War II. We do it through proxy wars. Whether we're aiding the side that is fighting people that we don't like, or we're using spies or etc., or using intelligence agencies to do things. Right now, a lot of these documents are becoming declassified from the CIA, NSA, etc. Of all the crap that they did back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and people are like, whoa, what's going on? They were trying to do mind control, whatever. Yes, and you don't think that they're still doing this type of crap nowadays? They're doing it even more so because we're not going to the battlefield and fighting. We're doing other things. And this war right now with Ukraine is this war with Russia through the United States, through Ukraine as a proxy, is absolutely a test to see, okay, let's test some of our new weapons. Let's see what's going on here. It funds the military-industrial complex because they need war to make money.
Very interesting that we're kind of ending on this story because we talked about entitlement. And as I said, how much entitlement do you think Vladimir Zelensky has on the United States at this point? What do you mean? You're not giving me more money? You're not giving me more weapons? You're not giving me more artillery? Come on, let's go. I'm entitled to this.
Well, of course, he said it. He said it like a couple months ago. He's like,
Exactly.
hey, guys, we need more money. Meanwhile, look at all the shit that's happening here with veterans and everything. People, billions and billions, bro. America's second to them,
and
bro.
Ukraine, the mainstream media doesn't want to report this either. They're getting decimated. Russia has been taking ground, and they're doing it slow and methodically because at the end of the day, Russia does want to capture Ukraine intact because they're essentially brothers, big brother, little brother, right? Like a lot of Ukrainians are actually ethnically Russian, so they're trying to take Ukraine over, intact. Because here's the thing: people say, "Oh, Russia can't even win the war." Blah blah. If they really wanted to, they have a lot of the same weapons we have. They could have leveled Ukraine in a day if they really wanted to take them over, like we kind of did with Iraq: airstrike, 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 then bring in the ground troops. But they didn't do that. They're coming in. They're systematically taking in positions of power, taking things from a tactical advantage, and that's what they're doing. And Ukraine is losing. And I don't know why we're still funding a war that we're not winning and don't have a chance of winning. But Zelensky is trying to get as much money as he can. He's a scammer as well, but criminal. And it is what it is. But the United States looks at it like, hey, we're able to test our weapons. We're not putting our soldiers in line, really. We're able to test our technology, et cetera, up against the Russians who, if God forbid we get into a war, we can see where we stand. So all parties here are winning except for the Ukrainians.
And we talked about this from the American perspective, how much time we want to put into this, but how much time does Vladimir Putin and Russia want to spend on this? What's the famous quote from Afghanistan?
30 seconds.
You might have all the watches. We have all the time.
Yes.
Oh, wow,
So
that's dope.
At the end of the day, it's does Putin want to fight a 10-year war, a 20-year war, a 100-year war? It's happened in history.
And people
before.
could talk crap about Trump, but this war wouldn't have happened if Trump was in office.
I agree.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.